Hey, good day, everyone. This is Pastor Mike, and I'm here with my good man,
Nick over here, and we are sorry for there being such a long hiatus between episodes of Stumbling. Life's just been pretty hectic.
It has been wild here at the Stumbling Toward the Eschaton crew.
Yeah. Well, with Easter passing, Holy Week, all the cool stuff, we didn't get to record.
Oh, Holy Week was jam-packed, man. It was just, Lent was wild. It's been wild. I don't know about you, Nick. Heck, you've been working a ton, too, haven't you?
Yep.
So it's been wild, but we're back. We're both on break.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'm technically on vacation right now. Don't tell my wife.
It's a secret.
Oh man,
Like,
not that.
oh.
So yeah, let's get people up to speed. What's been happening? Since when last time we got together?
Well, as I said, Easter and Holy Week happened.
Yeah, Holy Week. It was a good Holy Week. Did you enjoy Holy Week?
I did enjoy Holy Week. It was pretty rad.
Now, for all those people out there, Nick, are you a big Holy Week fan like I am?
I am a big Holy Week fan.
I dig it. Monday, Thursday was good. Good Friday was good. Yeah, I mean, we had a good bunch of folks. Good worship on Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday.
That's awesome.
Well, it is. I mean, Monday, Thursday is huge. Huge. I don't know. Were you? Yeah. Monday, Thursday is just one of those important ones. Hey, here's what I'm going to do, because this is always important. This is one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
Yes. You didn't even know you did it, but you did it. And it was there, and it happened in nachos. You know this, but a lot of people don't know this. It's not Monday, Thursday. Yeah, in
Monday.
confirmation, I always get the question, so is it Monday or Thursday, Pastor? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, Monday, Thursday. No, Maundy Thursday. Yeah, I asked that question, Pastor. Is it Monday or Thursday? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not Monday, M-O-N-D-A-Y. It's Maundy, M-A-U-N-D-Y.
That reminds me of when I was singing a song in my choir.
Mm-hmm.
It was trellised grape, but everyone says trestled grape. This is great. Because it was really funny because we just started doing the words for the song because we do like this weird, like we first got to know the notes and then we got to know the beat and then we actually move up to the words. And we moved up to the words and my choir director, he didn't think of saying trellised. Mm-hmm. And so everyone is just like, give me the trestled grape. And he's like,
What?
Trellised
grape.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
It's so funny.
Oh, but Maundy is a useful word because it reminds us on that Thursday Christ gives us some good commandments. Eat his meal, wash each other's feet, and love each other. And Maundy is the Latin word from which we get mandate. That's why it exists. That's why it's Maundy, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, Monday, Thursday.
Monday,
it's
Thursday.
Just another Monday, Thursday. Ooh. I don't know which day of the week it is. Ooh.
That's my life. Like during a break, I always lose track, and especially because I'm off this week too of work, so it's just like what day of the week it is.
So are you just totally just being like the bed?
Yeah, I've just been at home and relaxing. It's been pretty great.
If anybody grieves, you'd be like, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Good Friday was good too, and then Easter was jam-packed.
Easter was pretty rad.
Yeah, wasn't it good?
I enjoyed it.
It was a good Easter. It was a good Easter this year. A bunch of folks. So yeah, we caught up. We're in the middle of the resurrection. Again, here's the other cool thing too. Easter is not one day, it's 50 days.
That's my kind of Easter.
50 days. I just don't know why I had to say 50, but I just...
Hey, you gotta keep it fresh.
Yes, because when you see me, you think of Funky Fresh.
Well, of course, when you have the backwards baseball cap and
Was
everything.
it?
It was backwards.
Yeah. Sup to my homie. I'm not cool because my brim in the bill of my hat is not flat with a sticker on it.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that commonplace these days where it has to be flat?
Yeah, it's the cool zone.
I am not cool, nor am I in the zone. So I am definitely not in the cool zone.
It's a shame.
So then we're moving on. So we got a wild text. Or is there even anything else out of Holy Week before we move on to that is in the back of your head that you're thinking about that we should figure out?
I don't know. I don't really feel like there's anything, it's going to end up popping up after we're in the middle of doing this stuff. That's how it always works.
We are tangential.
Yep.
So let's do it. So, I mean, it's cool. So Easter, you always got, it's talking about the resurrection. But there's a lot of other stuff that happens around and after the resurrection. And the Sunday after Easter, or actually technically it's called the second Sunday of Easter, not after, but because we're in the Easter season, is there's always the same gospel text.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Always, always, always. And it's such a cool text. It is one of, I think, in my opinion, is one of my most frustrating texts, one of the best. It's the story of Doubting Thomas.
Okay,
You've heard of Doubting Thomas, right?
Rooney.
And yeah, it's one of those great things in the Bible that becomes one of the, common parlances of our time. He's such a Doubting Thomas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Also, you get the phrase Good Samaritan and Good Samaritan law. And writing on the wall, also biblical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Gotta take that too long. Just starts doodling on the wall.
Do you know where it's from?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So, I can't remember which king, but he was totally being a jerk, and a disembodied holy hand appeared and wrote like his death upon the wall.
That's
like
pretty
that when he's gonna die, and that's where you get the phrase, "Well, the writing is on the wall." Like the end is coming, because it's always involving those sorts of things. But no, here's this dude where this magic ghostly hand appears, and it's like, "You will die on this day," which is pretty metal when you think about it.
Is that in the last book of the Bible, or like,
no? That's in, I believe it's Daniel, and is it to Nebuchadnezzar?
Okay.
It's probably to Neb. Yeah, again, this is what happens when we shoot off the cuff. I haven't looked it up to double check. The year was 1423. I don't think 1423 was Nebuchadnezzar was king. Really?
You never know.
1423? Columbus has sailed the ocean blue in a pretty close bit of time after 1423, so no. So, but it's, but Doubting Thomas is a good one, because here you go. So, I mean, pretty much the resurrection day, Jesus appears in this locked room. He sneaks in, or, you know what I mean, yada, yada. Comes on in, and he runs into all the apostles except for Peter. Peter's not there. And they're all like, what? You told him he was from the dead? Those ladies that went to the tomb were right? Yeah, guys. Because that's always the great thing. Even the gospel lesson, the ladies are like, he's the risen. They're like, that's an idle tale, which is the greatest line ever. Your tales are idle, ladies.
It's pretty great. We were watching one of the renditions of it. I can't remember which one in Sunday school, and they were just like, "Man, Jesus, I'm so glad to have you back." And he disappears, and Thomas comes in, and it's like, "Dude, you just missed him. Jesus was here." And he's like, "You guys are all lying to me, man. You guys suck. I can't believe you're my friends." Like he went like full on, like, "I can't believe you're lying to me."
What?
And then he leaves, and then Jesus comes back, and he's just like, "Nerd." Like,
are you what?
No, that's what it feels like.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, because it's always the great thing is they always Thomas is ragged on.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I should have totally believed. It's like, really? Really? If you were there and they're like, dude rose from the dead, you'd be like, well, yeah, of course I believe it. This happens all the time. No. I mean, so here's the rub. You are late to one meeting, man. You're late to one meeting. Guys, I can't make it this month. Okay, no big deal. You missed that one. Totally missed a guy coming back from the dead. What? You know what I mean? And so, of course, he's understandably upset. You know what I mean? His master, his boss, his savior, was killed. He saw it happen. He's distressed. When you see a dude crucified, that's not one of those things like, that happens.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? No, that kind of jacks with you. And then everyone's like, he's back. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, it's cruel. I mean, we're even coming up to April 1st pretty quick, man. On April 1st, you really take everything with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, the Cubs, no, I don't believe anything you're gonna tell me about the Cubs on April 1st. Hate to break it to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. All those things. And so, he gets this horrible reputation, and people are called Doubting Thomases, which are like all these people like, well, you should totally believe this, but you don't. No, man. Poor dude was having the roughest go ever.
Office
and
troll.
You know what happens? Oh, yeah. You know what happens with the hardest go ever? He gets a second chance. And that's the cool thing about the story. He shows up. And Jesus shows up when he's there. And it creates this fascinating gig where even when Jesus shows up, you know what I mean? A lot of people interpret it as like Jesus ragging on him. Well, do you want to see my hands and see the piercing in my side? Because, Thomas was so upset. He was like, if I don't see the hole in his hands and the piercing in his side, I'm not going to believe it, guys. Mm-hmm. So, as opposed to all of a sudden, and I hate it when people are like, well, Jesus is a jerk. And he shows up, like, here, fine, take it. I view it more as like, okay, I totally rose from the dead, which is, even though I told these folks that, it's kind of a hard gig. I'm going to show up and I'm going to give Thomas what he needs for faith. I view it as this very graceful, like, believing thing, as opposed to Jesus the jerk. It's like, why didn't you believe immediately? Well, you know what I mean?
I always get the imagery of from Pan's Labyrinth. You know, like the one guy that goes like that with the hands. I like to think like Jesus goes like that with the holes, and you can like see through his hands. It's like a hand mask.
You're killing me, Nick.
He's just like Thomas.
That's not what I meant, Jesus. I know I can resist.
Yeah, he's like I couldn't resist.
Well, you know what I mean, and maybe my favorite thing about this gospel lesson is this: is I think, in all honesty, when you hear it, you can hear it different ways, somewhat depending upon your issues. Does that make sense? Because sometimes when we come to Scripture, we have these issues, and sometimes I think people have a latent theology of Jesus is kind of a jerk. Because we've talked about like vending machine Jesus.
Yep.
There's also, I sometimes think, jerk Jesus, which is like, I don't want anybody to go to heaven. Man, there's all these loopholes. Fine, I'll let you into heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said this prayer in my heart one day. Fine, I'll let you in. Really? Is this our theological what we want? Fine, Thomas. I showed up just for you. You better appreciate it. So I get extra nachos. Really? No, you know what I mean? If our theology is that God is graceful, hopefully we'd see this as a sign of grace. Like, dude missed it. So I'm going to extend to Thomas the grace and compassion that all the other apostles had. You know what I mean? I think that's a much better standpoint than, well, doubting Thomas, he's such a jerk. I don't know. I don't know your thoughts on that, but that's always been, and I love that text for that reason, because Jesus is compassionate and beats Thomas where he is in the resurrection.
Just beats him up. He just wails on him with his whole hands. I don't know if you've ever seen when someone gets attacked by an octopus and they get the suction cups and then you get like the circles all over their face. That would be Thomas. There'd just be like the unbruises where the holes were.
What are you talking about?
That's where my mind's off today.
You are something else, man. Spring break is messing with you. So I don't know. Do you like the Doubting Thomas text?
I do. I enjoy it a lot because it's something that can be applied to not just religion but to a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, you're in a terrible situation in your life right now. It's going to get better. No, it's not. It's going to get better. No, it's not. And it's got better. And he's like, see, it's got better. Like, I guess it did get better. You know, like, or you know, it's just something too, like, on a more fantastical term. Like, with, like Bigfoot or something like that. It doesn't exist in Bigfoot. It's like, all right, I guess Bigfoot does exist.
Cryptozoology, man. Bringing it in.
I've been recently diving back into Lost Tapes. I don't know if you remember that show from Animal Planet.
No.
That was like one of my favorite shows I watched growing up. Me and my girlfriend, we were both like, do you remember the one show where it was, you know, like with like the cryptozoology? And we were both like, yeah. And so we just been marathoning it. It's pretty great.
Oh, I love cryptozoology. That's
one of my, so awesome.
That is one of my sorts of things. And the funny thing is that every now and then, if you look throughout history, and I'm not weighing in on the whole Sasquatch phenomenon or the abominable snowman. But every now and then there were those creatures that were viewed as, you know, they didn't truly exist. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean, somebody discovers it and the cryptozoologist was right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a fascinating thing. And it's that wild reality of, you know, there's belief, there's searching, and there's often being met where you need to be.
I enjoy the Thunderbird. Thunderbird's one of my favorites.
Thunderbird.
Nothing like a bird with a 5-yard wingspan. Just carrying away your babies.
What's the wingspan of the harpy eagle?
It is 6 feet.
Okay.
I knew that because I actually talked about that in the show.
Did it?
They talked about it.
Because what? The harpy eagle is one of the...
It's the biggest predator bird.
Yeah. So that's always the judgment thing. So you're doing 6 feet versus 5 yards.
Yeah.
Which is 15 feet, correct?
Yep.
3 feet to a yard. Did
Somewhere
I do the math
around,
right?
Yeah.
I'm off this week, man. We're
It's
all off
all right.
this
Me
week.
too.
We're like, can't do math. So, I mean, yeah. So, no, Easter, it's that good resurrection. And maybe that, as we talk about some of that gospel stuff, is the takeaway message for everybody. Is that there are often points in time we're in hard spots. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can think Jesus or the church is judging us. But really, the call is to meet people where they're at. To give them what they need to move on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. So, yeah. How are we doing?
We're doing good. We're at 15 minutes.
All right.
There was a post online that I saw
Yes.
the other day.
Current events. Let's move to the current event portion.
Well, it was one of those things, because, my girlfriend, she's not religious, so she has all the different pages, and so I saw one. And it says, it's just like, Jesus died for everyone's sins. And then it had a quote from one of the Bibles. And it's like, no man can die for another man's sin.
What passage was that?
I don't remember. It was one of like the first few books. I remember that. I'd have to like look that post up.
See, you'd have to do that too, because there's always those. You always get the issues of every now and then somebody will do those wild things where it's not really in scripture. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest examples of that was, you ever heard of Pulp Fiction?
Yep.
You know what killed me about Pulp Fiction? All of my non-religious friends asking me, so is that line that Samuel L. Jackson quoted, is that actually in the Bible? No. Quentin Tarantino made that up and pretty much said it was like Ezekiel, whatever. And so there's an actual verse in there, but if you look at that, it's like, that's not what he said. Mm-hmm. That's not what Samuel L. Jackson said before he killed all these guys. So you always get that problem of like nobody willing to look stuff up or double check that.
Yeah.
There's also the other fact is contextually. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It could also have to do with, not the larger sin portion of things. It could do along the lines of, the reality of, let's say, you can't kill another man for another man's murder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or that sort of thing. Oh, okay. Well, that's a very specific thing, not the broad thing. So you got all those issues. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'd have to check on that post. But, that's one of those odd Old Testament pieces. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weird stuff going on with, how you also have those problems of that if you read only one verse and you ignore what totally comes before or after, you know what I mean? Yeah. You miss sometimes what important pieces are doing those sorts of things.
Well, I mean, like the one piece, I think it's an act where he's just like, you hid the money. I didn't hide the money, and then he explodes into a bloody mess. Like, if you just took and he exploded into a bloody mess out of context, like, you show that to someone who's not religious to be like, the Bible's freaking awesome.
Well, yeah, and you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? And it's that whole larger thing of these two are trying to rob the larger community and lied, and were given numerous opportunities. And that was kind of the most metal response to it. But yeah, no, they were robbing from the larger community. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's fascinating. Yeah, you also get those wild stories too of, like if you viewed Paul's miracle of raising the young boy that fell out of a window from the dead, you might view Paul as kind of the hero of that story. But Paul preached so long that the kid fell asleep and fell out a window. Have I ever told you that?
I've not.
That is one of my favorite Bible stories. Again, the whole concept of context, you know what I mean? Even trying to bring it back. Is at one point, Acts, it was the middle of the night. And he's preaching this long sermon. This poor kid gets so tired because Paul won't stop preaching that he falls asleep. And then he was sitting in kind of like a cool window area, all the kids are like, I'm cool. And then he falls out the window and dies because, he fell off the third story or something. So Paul has to run down and perform this miracle to raise this kid from the dead because he can't stop preaching.
He's like, I can't stop. He's
I'm sorry. What I'm doing. So again, that is the great reminder of that sometimes shorter sermons are better because no one will die.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Henry is the master. The sermon's going on too long. If my little brother just passes out in the pew behind us, he will just...
Henry could sleep anywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
I love the fact that, dude, I feel so bad for your mom sometimes because he'll just get up. He'll just grab his coat and he will be scooting around together. I think, Mom, I'll come sit back now. And he's like, I'm done. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, you hear, Mom, no. And then she's like... And then I see you give a little chuckle, and then Henry just goes to sleep. Is how it goes.
Well, dude, again, Henry gets the grace because I think your brother just goes so hard that it's one of those things where he doesn't know he's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. He just goes hard. He's got two speeds, unconscious and hard. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So it's not. So he doesn't pace himself. It's I'm assuming he's one of those people that just jumps out of bed and goes.
Yeah, he wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And he goes.
Yep.
So there's a certain level of grace. Now the old guys that just fall asleep because they're old guys, it's a different thing. There's a different level of grace. But Henry just goes hard.
On further news, I'm starting to get gray hair.
Me too. You see this awesome beard?
I know. I'm it slowly the transition's just going down. It's let's just hope you keep your ginger beard, man.
Speaking of internet stuff, I'm gonna do this other one too. I found this interesting article and it was in HuffPost, and I might try to find a link and share it is about this MIT nuclear physicist,
Okay.
and it's called Three, I think, Hypotheses of Believing the Resurrection. So he's a scientist. I mean, he's at MIT, so he's not like Johnny Discount Scientist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I can get a chemistry set. I still like Jesus, though. You know what I mean? He's like an MIT physicist, right? And he writes, you know what I mean? Hey, I believe in the resurrection. And he writes a very succinct thing about, different views of it. And he comes up, he's like, I have no issue with believing in the resurrection being a scientist. It's really kind of a cool article. Because again, I did some science stuff in college and I definitely enjoyed it. And it's always been one of those odd things where you talk with some people and, either you have the Christians that are like, no, science is bad. Dinosaurs have lived 20 years ago. It's like, let's simmer down. Then you have some people where it's like, you know what I mean? That are like, so, like, science becomes their religion along the lines, like, you know what I mean? I am more concerned with creating the singularity than anything else.
Did you did you ever hear about the theory of the universe was created last Tuesday?
Oh, I don't know if I've heard that one.
It's some like weird theory and there's some like evidence behind it, but it's just like it's just a theory. But it's just like the universe resets every Tuesday, but we keep our memories of it. It's just like it's some like weird stuff.
People have been playing like MMORPGs or something for like the server reset.
I know that's what I thought about it. Or like where it's like the universe is flat. Like well,
yeah, no. In the wormholes of the argument that what you do is if there's these places where the universe is flat, it's like a plane.
Yeah. And
that if they touch each other, you can move into it. Yeah, I've heard the one is flat. And you have the multiverse theory where really, as other universes are shrinking, other ones expand.
Yeah. One of the things about the multiverse theory, if it is real, it freaks the heck out of me, is because our microverse can just come in contact with another microverse and it will just cease to exist. Like, it'll be like, and then we're just done. Our universe is done. Well, like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I don't feel comfortable.
Well, there's also the entropy thing you got to worry about too, brother. Luckily, we got, trillions upon trillions of years before that happens.
Oh, is that where, like, the Earth or the universe becomes a single temperature and we cannot move?
0 Kelvin.
Yeah.
Because, again, if you look at Boyle's Law, gosh. All right, let's figure this out here if I remember right. If I remember right, so please hold nerd rage.
All right.
But, you got Boyle's Law of temperature, pressure, and volume. You know what I mean? As the volume increases, your temperature goes down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe I'm using Boyle's Law incorrectly for, the entropic effect, but eventually the idea is that, it's the slow heat death of the universe where everything hits 0 Kelvin. And then everything just stops moving. All atomic motion ceases.
That's one of those things, too, that's kind of, like, really crazy to think about. It's really funny how humans just have some weird, like, curiosity with, man, this is how we could all die. Like, this is really cool.
Well, I think that's the struggling side effect of being self-aware.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll save that for the next one.
The
big struggle of the stumbling block of being self-aware. Because being self-aware is problematic. Man, we got some boss tangent. We've obviously been saving up, brothers and sisters. Well, hopefully, the resurrection is treating you well, and that even amidst doubts and struggles, know that Christ will meet you. We got any homework?
We got the chat pack.
Oh, let's do the chat pack, and then we got to give him homework. Do it.
Yes. All right. Got my chat pack going.
I dig your chat pack. I like your chat pack.
Thank you. All right. Question.
Yes, brother.
Of the week.
All right.
If you were given a $100 gift certificate to spend at any store, where would you choose to spend it?
Oh, man. Store? You go first.
All right. Let's see. First store. Well, can it be... Does it have to be a store, or can it be like a big place? Because if I could, I'd spend it at ASIN, because you can never have too much money when you're going to a convention.
I'll give you that.
All right.
I'll give you that. You know what I mean? Again, my mind keeps coming back to this. I wanted to do something better. Amazon.
Amazon?
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Gotta dig the Amazon. I gotta pre-order Star Wars, too. Shoot! I gotta pre-order Star Wars.
All right. that is one of the questions for the week. Do you have a better homework assignment?
Yeah. I'll do this one. As we talk about doubt, and we even talked about science and some of the internet, what are some of those things that crop up that make you go, when it comes to faith in the world at large? You know what I mean? Things that make you go, Like, hey, that's kind of weird. Entropy freaks out Nick, right?
Yeah, it's true.
It freaks me out, man. So, yeah, throw something along those lines.
All right. Let's see. when I question faith is a lot of when you are looking into the science stuff, like me going through school and going through all the physics classes and like all of that stuff. It's one of those things you're like, this is really crazy. Like, like religion explains this stuff as like, it's God's hand working. And then you're like, well, this is the law behind it. And then for me being ELCA Lutheran, I'm like, it happens because of God. They can coexist. Like, that's how I feel about it,
Well, do you want to should we do science and faith next episode?
Yeah, we should do that.
All right, let's do it. That'll be our current event. I like it.
All right.
That's the preview, everybody. We're going to hit the next text, and we're going to do science and faith.
Keep on stumbling.
All right.